Sunlight glinted off the perfectly aligned ceramic tiles of Maya Chen's front walkway, each one a precise 12-inch square laid with the meticulous care of a surgeon. Beyond the manicured boxwood hedges, her garden wasn't just tidy, it was a statement. Roses bloomed in geometric patterns, tomato plants stood in straight rows under clear plastic cloches, and a miniature sundial, polished to a high shine, marked the exact moment the sun hit the right spot. Maya's world was a symphony of control, measured in millimetres and minutes. Her neighbour, Leo Vance, lived in a world painted with a brush, dipped in chaos. Leo's yard was a vibrant, slightly dangerous ecosystem. Climbing vines snaked over a rusted bicycle frame, mismatched garden gnomes held makeshift art projects, and a large abstract painting titled Hope. But mostly rain leaned against a fence, its colours bleeding into the dirt. The clash wasn't just visual, it was the sound of Maya's meticulously timed 7th AM bird feeder filling, a soft pitter-pat, versus Leo's 7th AM, drumming on a repurposed oil drum, accompanied by an impromptu off-key folk song about squirrels. It was Maya's precise 10-inch gap between her rose bushes and Leo's sprawling, unpruned sunflowers that definitely encroached on her property line, casting a shadow over her prized heirloom tomatoes. It was the scent of Maya's lavender-scented garden spray versus the earthy, paint-scented tang of Leo's latest project, a giant, three-dimensional sculpture made of recycled metal and driftwood, leaning precariously against the shared fence. Maya's voice was crisp, precise, slightly strained. Exactly 3.7 seconds. That's how long it took Leo's latest art installation to dislodge a single, perfectly placed decorative pebble from my path. Again. The 2023-0115 pebble, to be exact. The one I sourced from the exact gravel bed at the Botanical Gardens, not the generic stuff from Home Depot. It was part of the symmetry. Leo's voice was warm, slightly lazy. Symmetry? Maya, it's a pebble, not a monument. Besides, the sun's hitting the sculpture just right now, making it look like it's dancing. See, it's got movement. That's the point of art, right? Not just static. Maya's voice sharpened. Static? Your sculpture is a threat to my property line, Leo. It's currently in my boundary, according to the survey I have on file. And movement is precisely why it's a hazard. You could have knocked over my sundial. It's an antique. Precision. Leo chuckled, leaning on the fence. Antique? Maya, it's a plastic sundial from the dollar store, and it's not on your line, it's on the shared line. The one we both agreed on when we moved in, remember? The one you marked with the very precise, very tiny flag? I think it was a different flag than the one you used for the tomatoes. Maya's voice tightened. The flag was exactly 12 inches from the corner. The sculpture is 27.3 inches into my garden. It's a significant encroachment. And it's not a dollar store sundial. It's a replica of a 19th century design. It's important. Leo sighed playfully. Important. Right. While I'm busy making important art out of scrap metal, you're busy making important lists about the exact shade of green of your exact 5th rose. How's that going, by the way? Maya's voice turned icy. It's perfectly green, unlike your art, which is a disgrace to the neighbourhood aesthetic, and your noise levels last night were unacceptable. 11:47 p.m., the exact time I was trying to read my exact page in my exact edition of The Art of the Perfect Garden. Leo's voice rose, still warm. 11,000... Maya, it was dawn. I was painting. The sun was coming up, and I wasn't noise. I was music, like birds, only with more vibe. Maya's voice was exasperated. Birds don't require amplifiers, Leo. And the vibe was disturbing my sleep cycle, my precise 8-hour sleep cycle. You have no concept of order. Leo's voice grew quieter, thoughtful. Order? Maya, my life's a bit of a mess, but it's my mess, and it's alive. Unlike your garden, it's perfect, but it's also still, like a museum exhibit. What's the point of having it perfect if it's never lived in? Maya's voice faltered slightly, then regained control. It's measured, it's planned, it's safe. Unlike your living. The power didn't just flicker. It vanished. One moment, Maya was meticulously checking the exact time on her smartwatch, 11:58 p.m. The next, absolute suffocating blackness. The rhythmic thumping Leo had been doing, thump, 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 stopped abruptly. Then a muffled shout from Leo's house. "Woo! Lights out!" Maya's voice was tight with panic. "What?" "My watch. My exact time." Leo's voice was calm in the dark. "Maya? You okay over there? Lights are out. Big time. Looks like the whole block's dark. You need a candle? I've got a ton of weirdly shaped ones." Maya tried to sound composed, but her voice was higher pitched. "Yes, fine. Just startled. My watch broke. I need to find my exact location on the exact floor plan, the precise position of my exact watch. It's important." Leo chuckled softly. Okay. No watch, no lights. How about a little light? Found my emergency camp lantern. It's got a very specific colour. Not too bright, not too dim. Just right. Maya's voice softened slightly. "That's a very specific colour. It's a warm amber. Not the sterile white of a phone light. I like it." Leo's voice was warm. "Yeah? It's a vibe. I call it candlelight, but not actually a candle. You want to come over? My porch light's out, but the lantern's got a good range. Maybe we can find your watch, or just not be alone in the dark." Maya hesitated. Then a small, genuine laugh escaped. "Not alone in the dark? Leo, I've been alone in the dark for years. It's been my preferred state of being. But the exact position of my watch is irrelevant now, isn't it?" Leo laughed, a rich, warm sound. "See? You're getting it. Irrelevant. It's okay to be messy in the dark." Maya laughed softly, a sound she hadn't made in a long time. "You're ridiculous. And your lantern is a very specific amber. It's calming, not sterile." Leo's voice softened. "You know, when you were yelling about my garden last week, about the sunflowers, I was actually painting a picture of them. Not the encroachment, but the way the light hit them at sunset. The messy way they just grew is my favourite part of the yard, the part that's not planned." Maya's voice was quiet, thoughtful. "My garden, it's not just about the perfect roses. It's the only thing I could control after everything. After the divorce. The house was a mess. The life was a mess. The garden had to be right. To feel safe." Leo's voice was gentle. "Oh, Maya, I didn't know. I thought you just liked rules, really liked them." Maya's voice was quiet, vulnerable. "I do. But the exact position of my watch on the exact floor tile, it's not safe anymore. Not in the dark. Not like it was." Leo's voice was thick with emotion, warm. "Yeah. The dark is messy. It's confusing. But it's also quiet. And maybe not so scary when you're not alone in it. Even if you're standing on your porch holding a very specific amber lantern." Maya's voice held a slow, soft smile. "Your lantern, it's not just amber. It's exactly the right shade. It's perfect for the dark." Leo chuckled softly. "Perfect? Or just right for the moment?" Maya's voice was steady, but with a new softness. "Maybe both. And maybe the exact position of the fence isn't so important. Maybe it's just the line between us, not a barrier." The power came back with a soft thrum at 7,002 a.m. Maya woke to the familiar chime of her new alarm clock. But she didn't rush. She stood at her window, not checking the time, but watching Leo. He was tending his garden, humming that off-key tune. And then she saw it, the tiny patch of bluebonnets planted right where the line used to be, and the sign on his sculpture, a tiny, perfect addition. Leo called out, his voice clear, relaxed. "Morning, Maya. Your lavender's looking exactly right. And thanks for the bluebonnets. They're a very specific shade of blue. I like it." Maya's voice held a genuine, warm smile. "Your sculpture's exactly right too, Leo. For the dark. And the light. And your lavender's perfect." Leo laughed, warm and easy. "Perfect, or just right?" Maya laughed quietly, the sound of a life finally breathing. "Maybe both. And maybe we can both be a little messy. Just right."